welcome back to Ormsby Farm. My name is Casey. So on today's video, we are going to talk about how to turn one chicken, and this is just one 3-pound chicken. We're going to turn it into 6 meals and 2 different types of jar items, literally for $5.08. So if that's something that interests you, stick around.
I'm coming home.
So we're back with the chicken. Again, this is a 3-pound chicken that we got from a local farm at one of our grocery stores. We do not yet have our own meat birds on Ormsby Farm. So the best thing that I like to do is to give back to local farms and buy from their products. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this into 6 meals along with having 2 different jars. And 2 different jars, what I mean by that is you can get, once you cut up all the meat from this, you take the bones, we're gonna put it into the Instapot, we're gonna make some quick chicken broth that you then can can. Now I won't be canning it today, I'll be putting it in a Ziploc in the freezer, because if you've been following us for a while, you know that the stove is not hooked up, so I cannot can it just yet. But then we'll take the bones, we'll dehydrate them and turn them into bone meal powder. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these up. Now let me just say, there are a lot of fabulous videos on how to cut up a chicken. This is not going to be a video on showing you exactly step by step how to do that. I will leave a link, an index card of my favorite, which was Sarah and Kevin over at Living Traditions Homestead. They did a step by step of cutting the chickens up. But I'm gonna go ahead and speed through this. And I'm just gonna be talking a little bit, and I'm gonna speed through and cut up all of the chicken pieces. And then we'll come back after I have it cut up and we'll talk about what we have. Alrighty, one thing that I definitely recommend is a good set of knives. I will leave the name brand of our knives that we use down in the bottom. There's always a code to our Amazon affiliate store. It costs you no much more money. It just shows them that you came from us and helps our family's channel to grow. So what I have here is I've separated it into all the different pieces that I wanted. Now, first thing was, this chicken was one of the smaller chickens than you normally would get, especially if you buy the already pre-cut meat in the grocery store. This was a 3-pound chicken, so a lot of the pieces are gonna look a little bit smaller to you if you are used to grocery store meats. So the first thing is I have the 2 chicken thighs. Now, there's different ways that you can do the chicken thighs. You can keep the skin on, you could take it off. I just like to keep the skin on because it's good for the flavor. The next is you have 2 breasts. Again, smaller chicken. Normally the bigger chickens, when I get them, like the 5, 6, 7-pound chickens, I can cut them in half so I have 2 extra dinners from the breast. But these were small enough to where it will be 2 good meals. Same thing for the thighs. I always like to count the drumettes, both of them, as 1 meal. So now we're up to 5. And then I have the wings that makes 2 flats, 2 drums. I always keep this little piece off on the wings. So that's 4 wings, which is definitely enough with a side with some tater tots, with some French fries, even with a small personal pan pizza to have a good dinner. And then of course the carcass, which don't throw this away, because we're gonna go now and go over to the Instapot, fill it up, put some yummy veggies in there, and we're gonna do a quick 2-hour chicken broth with this here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all this stuff bagged up, and then we'll come back over at the Instapot. Alrighty, so now over at the Instapot, I have the carcass inside of my Instapot. I have put some onion. I don't do much seasoning on my broth because when I make the soup, I add the seasoning then. So I just have some onion in here. I am going to add some celery salt only because I don't have any fresh celery to put in there. And I am going to put some of my chopped bay leaves because I could not find where I put my actual bay leaf. So that's going to go in there, equivalent to probably 2 bay leaves is what I do. And then we're going to fill it up to the fill max line. There it is. I don't know if you can see that. It will say max on your Instapot, max. So we're gonna fill it up with water. And now we're just gonna put the lid on top of it. if I can do that. Struggle bus today. Let me turn it towards you. And we're gonna go ahead and pressure cook it for 120 minutes. So I got it at 2 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and start. And I'm going to leave it be, y'all, and then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna show you what we get. We're gonna freeze that because I can't can it again. And then I'm gonna show you what I wanna do with those bones, because don't throw them away. Alrighty, y'all, so it's the next morning, so I let the broth cool. It sat in the fridge overnight, and as you see, the fat will collect at the very top. You're just gonna discard that because you do not want the fat in your broth. As you see, it's very easy to just scrape and get it out. And we will strain the chicken carcass, the onions, and all that kind of stuff through a strainer to have the broth left over. And that broth, because the stove is not hooked up, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put it in a gallon Ziploc bag. And then I'm gonna come back once I have the carcass, because I'm gonna pull all the leftover meat. That can be saved for great dog food. Really, dog, cat, your animal food. The chicken is really, really good for that, and you don't want to waste it. And then after that, we're going to take the bones and we're going to go ahead and pop them in the dehydrator. So I'm going to get all this fat off, get it poured, and we'll be right back. Now this is a small amount, because one thing when you do the pressure cooking of the bones kind of go to nothing, but this is kind of what's left. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dump it into the dehydrator, and we're going to go ahead and probably cook this on the high setting. See if I can actually get it in the camera, y'all. There we go. The high setting probably for about 8 to 10 hours, and then we'll powder it up. It's not gonna be much, but when you do big batches of chicken, this is where you can get a good amount of bone meal. So we'll go ahead and do that, and I will see you back in a second. And then in your 10 hours, what you're gonna do is you can put it into a coffee grinder, grind it up into a powder, put it into your mason jar and vacuum seal it. Like I vacuum sealed with my friend Alicia with your food saver. I'll leave an index card right up here on how we used it. But so basically, let's recap before this video wraps up. We had a $5.08 chicken. We got that. It was a farm-raised chicken here in the local small town where I live. We got 2 breasts. We got 2 thighs. We got 2 legs, which I counted as 1 meal. We got a chicken wing meal with 4 chicken wings. We got 1 gallon of chicken broth, homemade chicken broth, 2-hour quick chicken broth, which I will be canning. It's a pressure can product, so you need to pressure can it. Meals for 4 dogs for 2 days, and we got probably a jelly jar size of our bone broth, bone meal powder. So that is a lot of stuff. So y'all, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you know that anytime that new content drops to the channel. Follow us on social media at Instagram and Facebook at Ormsby Farm. And until next video, happy cooking, happy canning. We'll see you later. Be blessed.
I'm coming home.